Writing the perfect introduction for any post on any website is absolutely crucial. The intro sets the tone for what the user is about to read and pretty quickly allows them to make a decision as to whether to stay or hop back and send a deadly signal to Google about your content. Just as I sat down ready to start planning this video, I saw a tweet from Jamie IF about his SPEAR framework for, you guessed it, writing the perfect blog post intro. So I asked him if he'd come on and share his knowledge on writing intros with me and with you on this video today, and like the true gent that he is, he duly obliged. Now, he's definitely one to follow. He's all over Twitter and he's also got a YouTube channel, so I'll leave links to his relevant places so that you can go and check him out in the description below. Incredibly lucky to be joined by Jamie IF today, and Jamie, I've just kind of given you the preamble. I was going to put together a video on introductions to blog content, and then I stumbled across your tweet. I was aware of this framework that you kind of talked about in the past, and I thought, do you know what, I can't beat that. So I begged you to come on and talk about it, and gratefully you've agreed. So first of all, to people that might not know who you are, do you want to kind of just give us a 30-second intro to who you are and why people should maybe listen to you in the first place?
Sure, I'm Jamie. I'm from London. I do affiliate marketing mostly, and I tweet about it sometimes. And so I focus sort of on the psychology sort of side and try and sell and stuff. And so if you find that interesting, then you might find the intro sort of framework we developed interesting. But if you don't, then that's fine.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I think from, and this is the first time we've physically spoken, we've had a few messages here and there, but I'm guessing you're pretty much like a pure affiliate. So the websites that you own, are they predominantly affiliate based, or is there a percentage of like display ads and stuff like that you do?
Yeah, we're doing more display ads than ever before at the moment. We've seen RPMs kick up, and we've been focusing more on the data side of that. So we'll do about $20,000 in Ezoic revenue in November, but it will still be like 32 in affiliates. So it's more diversification, but I do love the affiliate stuff. You can't deliver them kind of results from ads, really.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so essentially, the framework that you're going to talk about today can work for the majority of websites or niche sites, as it were, whether it's kind of affiliate or info based. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it requires tweaking based on your, like, we have two different ways that we'll set this out. It's in our different styles of briefing, which I can actually release those as SOPs if anyone wants them. So they are mostly designed around converting sales into affiliate content, because in sort of the trust gaining and stuff like that and credibility. But it does focus, you don't really have to spend as much time on it. It's mostly about engagement on info content, but there are sort of tweaks you can make for both styles. But I do focus on affiliates, so a lot of the examples and stuff that I give in the framework are affiliate focused.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's have a dive into it and have a look what it is. You put out this fantastic tweet, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, which has had loads of engagement, loads of likes. I don't think I've ever seen so many people add it to Notion and stuff like that in the past. So it's people are absolutely loving it, and I think I can see why, because it's fairly straightforward. And I think from what really interests me is that I think it would, it'll massively help from a conversion point of view. So typically, whenever I've thought about intros before, it's almost like just a quick paragraph to kind of get things going. But I think this just takes it to a whole other level. So let's take it away. Tell us all about it.
Sure. So, and you can have short, just get straight into intros, and I do that myself. But the sort of elements of this SPEAR framework do sort of filter into the actual product descriptions themselves, because you can use them to build rapport and expertise and stuff like that. So basically, it's SPEAR, and if you don't want to get through all of them, then just start with EAR and build the SP, because the EAR are the most important. But to run through them chronologically, so S is search or user intent, so they focus in both ways basically. So you need to know who you're looking for and what the reader are looking for, and basically you need to make sure that within like 5 seconds they know they're in the right place, because people are fickle and they're willing to go back onto the search results anytime and click to your rival, cookie your rival, and then leave you with nothing, even if you've done all the work. So you need to grab them instantly and make them think, I am in the right place. And you can do that by basically answering what people want to find out. What do they want to, like, you need to get them. Okay, so there's two parts. One, you need to make sure that you hit the search intent, which is just typical SEO boring stuff. But two, you need to do it on an emotional level and make them sort of mentally commit to reading the entire article. Beyond the actual intro, you can have something called a segue paragraph that I call, which is basically like your way of connecting like the head to the body. So it's like the neck of the article, right? And so you basically can just say, in this article, we'll cover the best vacuum cleaners, as well as 5 tips and tricks to get the most out of your vacuum cleaner for every use, and the 2 reasons you might want to consider for why you wouldn't want one. And so if anyone's interested in any of those things, they're mentally committed to reading the whole thing, even though the product descriptions come first and then the supporting information comes after. So you've basically just stolen like 4 minutes time on page and the other user metrics, and like they're glued. And once you do that, you can glue eyeballs to the page. That's the human side, but obviously the internet algorithm side is to make sure that you are actually hitting the search intent.
But I think that's a really interesting point. Sorry to interrupt, Jamie, because I think for me, the majority of the time, people are more focused on the SEO side of things rather than that human connection. And I think you're absolutely right. To make that connection straight away and get them to commit on an emotional level, I think is key. So are there any kind of specific techniques that you have to, or is there a certain way in which you would go about that? Are there certain things that you try and specifically hit?
You just need to, it depends on the article, right? If you're on a specific article about the best vacuum for dust mites, you'll want to, and this kind of comes into the other parts rather than the S part of this, but you just want to make sure that you're answering someone's problem. And this kind of leads into the next part, which is the pain points, which is you need to list what someone's burning desire is. And it may be that they have 4 or 5 different segments that are likely to come onto this page that have different problems or things that they feel are the most important part of the problem. And if you can articulate that, if you can articulate someone's problem, they will assume you have the answer, and they're kind of yours to take them through the story, how you want to take them through from that point. As well as articulating someone's problem on a personal, emotional bond building level where they'll trust you, there's also pain points, as in people are very worried, and they buy things to solve problems and needs. Those are psychological rather than technical and functional a lot of the time. And so if you can articulate and show them what they're potentially missing out on, because people are risk averse naturally, and people are more worried about a loss than a same level gain, you can make more impact and conversions if you articulate the potential negatives of missing out, the FOMO, rather than the positives of doing that. And so there's an element of weaponizing the loss aversion that people have by making sure that people don't want to miss out. But if you don't spend the extra $50 to get the really high temperature vacuum cleaner, you might not get rid of those dust mites, or something better than that. So you can, so the first element is you want to articulate someone's problem, make sure they feel like they're in the right place. You want to make sure that they know that this is going to solve their query through things like the segue paragraph. But then you can hit harder with the emotional side, with making sure that you've articulated someone's needs, and make sure you've done it for multiple different segments. If you have, based on your research, know that there's 3 different segments of people that are coming onto this, people that are really looking for X problem, Y problem, and Z, they might all be related, but you can hit all of those in different little bits and just show that you know what they were talking about, which is search intent, and you've articulated their pain points, which comes into the next part as well, which is the E, which is expertise. So people trust, and this is more and more important the higher ticket you get to, right? Because there's a longer, difficult buy process and there's more loss aversion involved. So the higher products, higher ticket you do, if you're selling like industrial equipment that's like 50 grand or whatever, or you're selling yachts, you need to be the yacht guy, the yacht person, right? You need to be that person. But they have to intrinsically respect you. You have to take advantage of that parasocial relationship that people have with you, where they trust, okay, I want to deal with this person. And you can only do that by branding yourself and being personable and effortlessly conveying your expertise. If you have to tell someone how important you are, you're probably not very important. If you have to tell someone you're an expert, like, look, I've got my PhD, no, doesn't work. You can infer it though, which is a way of just sort of flexing. It's nothing to me. I'm just an effortless expert, which is the way you should always communicate high ticket affiliate offers. I'm not even getting out of second gear. This is just me telling you what I know. I've been doing this for so long. So you don't go, I am an expert, I'm really good at this stuff. You go, in my 15 years in the industry, I came to just come across the opinion that this is really the best in all areas. But if you aren't, and it requires a lot of research, and I really think that affiliate is going to devolve to the level where you have to be an expert in this game, because, or at least to get results, because you can convert 5 times better if you do know your stuff. But there are 2 ways of doing that. One, experts have really, really confident value judgments because they're not afraid of being wrong, so they can be precise. And precision converts. Precision in, like, even in informational articles, precision in vocabulary is key to, like, time on page. Because if you just use even words like things and whatever else rather than like really precise vocabulary, you're just not going to have an impact. You're not going to create a strong visual image in someone's mind. But in the same way, if you can create a real confident value judgment, this one is not good because this particular spec means that it's not good for cleaning certain elements of your kitchen or something like that. Whereas the other one, based on my knowledge, is perfect for these things because of this particular whatever that's there. So that's a confident value judgment that only experts can make, which is impossible to replicate, because if you take that risk of being really precise when you don't know your stuff, you might be wrong. And if you're wrong, you lose credibility. But if you don't want to do that on the same level, you can just back things up with stats, writing intros like, people will attach other people's expertise onto you if you quote things like the market size of an industry, the growth of an industry, the general trends, because they're like, all right, they've done, they know they can take a macroeconomic view of this. They can kind of like, no, do whatever. But it's not as effective, and I advise getting to the confident value judgments level if you can. A of the spear is audience, which is similar to search intent, but I think more important, because yes, we spoke about the original one being like, yes, this person understands me with the search intent. It's kind of like the search intent is like, yeah, this person is looking for this, but audience drills into that more. Like, you have to think, what is this person looking for exactly? What's their burning need? And is it like one level deeper? For example, you can sell someone a vacuum cleaner, but if you know that they're in the exploratory stage, that might not be the play. You might want to send them to another article you've got that explains whether they're worth it or whether, what are the benefits for particular uses that they've come on for. So once you understand where someone is the buying process, you can funnel them where they are most likely to convert and offer you the most lifetime value. You can also understand what they're not looking for. 1, so you can not write about it, or 2, so you can point exactly what you're not out. Because if you can say who you're not for or who the product isn't for or whatever, you can convert so much better because people trust you because you're not just trying to blindly sell them on whatever's there. What problem do you want to solve for them is kind of similar, but there's nuances there between the S and the A here. And also, like, if you're really in your niche, if you're hanging out in the forums, if you're talking to people, if you're in your community, things just like the niche specific slang that people talk about. Like, in SEO, there's loads of them. In, whatever communities out there, they have them. If you play a lot of Pokemon, you probably know all the Pokemon slang that you can get into that sort of stuff. Anything to build that rapport, which is the last point, the R, is the key bit, because you can use all these bits to understand your audience, and it all links together, of which also, back on the audience part, you can segment people into, you can even tell them that you've segmented your audience. There doesn't need to be like a manipulation psychology thing. You can literally just have, and I recommend everyone do this, a list of your products that says, this is the best one for Mac, this is the best for Windows, this is the best for iPhone, whatever. Or if it's best for beginners, best for professionals, best for kitchens, best for whatever. You need to segment, because people will select themselves into whatever they identify as, and then they're right down there instantly.
I love that. And I think, you gave the example of the spruce, didn't you, in the tweet that you put out for that. And I absolutely love that from a conversion point of view. But I suppose from what you're saying, making the audience feel that, you're there to serve them, no matter what their specific need is. I absolutely love that. And do you know what? I've done that in articles myself, but I've done it throughout the article. So I think to put it up there towards the top of the content, almost as part of that intro, I think is a really, really good step to take. Yeah, love that.
You can do that as you go through as well, because it's another way of sort of doing that, and you get long tail keywords in there as well. So it's like a double thing. But it's I like I think 50% of the deals get done in the top 10%. It's just optimizing that top bit. And the last bit of the R, which is rapport. Like building that emotional bond is not, it's more important in info content as well, because people have got to trust you to, it's important in both. It's important in both. The expertise is more important in high ticket stuff, but rapport is more important in low to mid as well as high, but it just becomes more pronounced, I think. And so if you've done all the other things, the SPEA, the R kind of falls into itself, because it's not like they're separate entities. They are all linked. So rapport is basically the glue that holds it all together. And beyond your understanding of your audience and the pain points and the psychology and the devious sales tactics you've used to imprint the worries of not buying something on someone's mind, you want to also be light. And so there's a balance to this, right? Because if you're so casual and you've got 3 exclamation marks every sentence, you might look a bit childlike, and in some niches that's not going to work, especially more professional ones, more technical ones. So you want to be likable and effortless expert that just doesn't get out of second gear, but you also want to be personable with the niche specific slang, and just like naming any failures you've had while testing a product, anything you did wrong, don't make mistakes I'd made, sort of stuff like that. And be personable and likable without being too casual, and maintaining whatever level of professionalism you need to relevant to your niche. It also helps people feel like a fellow human being, because can't feel like they're just being like, buy my stuff. Like, it's got to feel like you're walking down the road together and you're pointing stuff out that they can do, and it's a journey that you're on together, an adventure, a friendship, because people want your respect if they like you, and it's a parasocial relationship, and you want to give them that so that they want to give you back the results, which is your conversion. No one wants to feel like they're just being pushed products, and so you want to this kind of comes into visual imagery, using precise language that they can really identify with based on their shared experiences they have with the type of products or in the niche. Bring up scenarios they'd use the product in, so they can imagine themselves doing that, as well as trusting you and liking you, because you can name situations that they associate fondly with. Basically just bring them through the story with you. Use any personal experience that you can. If you can't do that, though, I recommend really you do actually test the products. If you don't, then at least go through Reddit and Quora to find anything like that, and actually do the work to find other people's experiences if you want to pass them off as your own. But if you really do the other stuff, rapport mostly writes itself, but it is very important. And that's it all, basically.
Wow. I mean, Jamie, I genuinely am so grateful for you coming on and talking about this, and I hope that people watching it really understand the value of what you've just delivered, because I really, and it's hard for me to do, but I really tried to just sit back and listen and absorb everything that you said there. And what I really like about this framework is that it can be applied. I think 1,000 people could apply this framework, and they would all apply it in a slightly different way, and in a way that works for them and for their niche and for their specific site. It's not like you're just giving them a template that they need to follow. It's almost, to me, it's almost like it should be used as a framework throughout the entire article. Yes, it's there as great for intros, but it's almost like an ethos to follow all the way through the content itself. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it started off with us trying to write intros, but now we sort of just and a lot of the examples are actually bleeding into the main content, to be honest. So even then I've sort of gone onto that and gone off on tangents. I think these are 5 just good points to keep in mind. They're not the be all and end all. There are other things I don't mention. Like for info articles, we've got 7 other points that I don't think I've ever mentioned publicly, but just things like visual imagery and storytelling and stuff like that. Precise vocabulary. But these are 5 points that can work and serve as good introductory elements, but also you may want to pick and choose elements from this to sort of augment any other commercial writing, I think.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, Jamie, what I'm going to do, or attempt to do, is to take your framework and write an intro, which is probably redefining my idea of an intro. So I'm going to pop that in the pinned comment in the video here, and I'm going to invite people to pick it apart and maybe tell me where I'm going wrong, and hopefully maybe you might even go in and give me feedback yourself on that. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe something completely random, like see what I was looking for today. I was looking for Thai SIM cards because I'm going to Thailand next week to Affiliate World. So what I might try and do is some kind of intro around Thai SIM cards for UK travellers or something like that. And I think I could probably weave something together using your framework for that. So I'm going to give it a go anyway. But I think I do elements of what you've talked about there on my site, but there's tons there for me to take away and learn, and hopefully people can too. So we can catch you on Twitter. I have actually got a nice little caption here. So it's Jamie_IF. Is that right?
That's it.
I've got this new toy, so I want to use it. So we can follow you there. And you've got a YouTube channel as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I haven't been posting much. I've been trying to get this Black Friday money, so I've not been active, but it is just Jamie IF. Again, if you type in Jamie IF, it'll come up on YouTube. Yeah, and something tells me that you definitely want to follow. So get on that now, guys. Jamie, thank you so much. And good
good luck with all your future endeavours. I know you've hit some nice milestones recently, and you seem to be going from strength to strength. You're certainly way ahead of me, so congrats.
It sounds like you're catching up. You're doing
mate.
super well.
Getting there. So yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you.
So in the pinned comment down below, you will find an example that I have tried to write using Jamie's spear framework. Now, I might have completely got the wrong end of the stick. Hopefully Jamie will be able to go in there and comment. But what I'd like you guys to do is to check out that piece of writing, that intro that I've written, and see if you can improve upon it, or just leave your feedback in the comments in reply to it. The only thing that I think I probably can add to what Jamie has said there is what should follow on from your intro, and for me that is quick verdicts. Now, I've put together this video here where I show you exactly how I've been using quick verdicts over the last couple of weeks to literally explode my conversions. So go and check that out to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table and to see exactly how I use them. Guys, thanks for watching and good luck with your projects.